This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Court Farm Country Park. But before that, this video is brought to you by Farmer G and Semper Buffo. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Court Farm Country Park map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now, I do understand that there is likely going to be a console release of this map, and I do have some information from an Auction David post talking about kind of the initial differences between the PC version and what he hopes to bring to the console version. And what I really hope is that we're going to have a unified version that both PC and console players can play together. I'll talk a little bit about that during the map video. Let's read a little bit of the description. Welcome to Court Farm. This map is based in Banwell, Somerset, UK. This map includes a replica of real-life farm and its surroundings. Real-life PDA map. This map also includes a custom animal type in rabbits. There are new wind effects, 4 main farms, and many smaller yards can be purchased. Custom lighting and color grading. Animated objects scattered across the map. Custom textures with Parralax mapping. Custom traffic. Over 100 new high-quality buildings made by Auction David himself. 144 fields with missions. 207 farmlands. 3 placeable areas where you can build your own farm or production sites. 9 sell points. BGA, sawmill, etc. Seasons visuals with random events. Collectables. Highly customizable UK license plates. Custom foliage and ground textures. Custom sounds. A highly detailed farmhouse interior, well worth exploring yourself. This map is listed as having precision farming support. Now, typically when you see that listed in the description, it is going to reference a custom soil map. When I took a look at the soil map in pre-production, basically taking a look before I started recording, this map is using a generic soil map as is provided from the precision farming mod. Hopefully we'll see this map get updated with a custom soil map in the future. This map is mud mod supported, UK themed production points, new crops in linseed, field bean, rye, and alfalfa, multi-triangle support. Campsites can be bought to generate you some revenue, and there are some smaller yards that when you buy, you will need to clear out the land. And then lastly, possibly the first map that we have seen with custom wildlife. The description says we might come across some wild rabbits in addition to our deer and birds. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in Farm Manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is built out exactly how you're going to see it here in New Farmer mode. In fact, all of the other farms are built out the same as well. You do not own any machinery, nor do you own any land in those alternate game modes. You will need to buy the land at all of the farms before the triggers are going to pop up. Now, when you load in starting a brand new career, you start here at the main starting farmhouse where we do have a sleep trigger in the bedroom. I have to say, this is probably one of the best interior farmhouses that I have seen designed to date, because all of the doors are well spaced out, and as such, it's easy to know exactly which door you're going to be activating. We have seen some custom farmhouses in the past where the triggers for these doors are really too close together, and therefore it can be oftentimes difficult to make sure you hit the right one. Now, I did mention in the description that we do have collectibles, and here we have a confirmation that we do have our 100 Elm Creek collectibles from Elm Creek. Let's go ahead and make our way outside, and I'll leave the rest of the farmhouse for you to explore on your own. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And I'd say one of the very first things that you're going to notice with this PDA is that we have quite the variety in field shapes and sizes. Off to the east, we've got several fields that are kind of rectangular in shape, long and narrow, whereas kind of more toward the middle of the map, we have larger, more irregularly shaped fields as well. We do have all our standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map, including linseed, rye, field bean, and alfalfa, as I already mentioned. If we take a look at our lands area, you'll see we start up by owning farmland 49. This is the main starting farm. $309,000 will buy you this farm in any alternate game mode. In addition, we have farmland ID 40, 46, and 48 as our starting fields. In addition to the main starting farm, we also have farms located at the following areas. Farmland ID 181, we have Stonebridge. That is going to be right here. That can be bought for $83,000. We have Home Farm at Farmland ID 133. That can be bought for $218,000. We have Elmcroft Farm, which can be bought here at Farmland ID 34. That can be bought for $235,000. And then in addition to that, we have some other buyable farm areas or placeable areas. That includes Farmland ID 9. That can be bought for $186,000. Farmland ID 53. That can be bought for $162,000. Farmland ID 171, which can be bought for $249,000. Farmland ID 154, which can be bought for $42,000. Farmland ID number 42, which can be bought for $73,000. Farmland ID 154, which we've already talked about. And then lastly, Farmland ID 111, which I've identified as going to be purchasable for $86,000. Now, there might be other farmlands that are available to purchase on these maps. These are the ones that I have identified with a relatively quick aerial flyover. Lots of these additional areas are marked with for sale signs, and once you buy the land, you'll be able to click on the sign itself and buy it. Taking a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, and then ultimately how much is that farmland going to cost us. So we're going to be able to take a look here and see that a lot of these farmlands are going to range from $200,000 to less than $100,000. We've got it's kind of very, very expensive here. Farmland 72. I believe this must be the castle. It has 3.2 hectares in size, $9.6 million to buy. Quite the historic price there. That is for sure. And what we can do from here is we're going to go and cross-reference the farmland with the fields themselves by taking a look at our field calculator screen. And that's going to show us the exact sizes of each particular field. And then ultimately we can go back and cross-reference the field number with the farmland number to then get a good grasp as to what it's going to cost us to buy any one particular field. Taking a look at this list, I see fields ranging from 6.5 hectares down to under 1/2 hectare in size. So we have quite the variety in field sizes for sure. And let's go ahead and take a look and see how that generic soil map is being applied to these fields. You can see our starting fields are all a combination of sandy loam, loamy sand, and loam. Then to the south, we've got a fair bit of silty clay. Off to the east, a fair bit of loam. To the north, loam and silty clay. And then a combination of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam to the west. We do have a custom crop counter available on this particular map. And we do have custom plant and harvest schedules for linseed, rye, field bean, and alfalfa. Now, do note, if you are playing with the crop calendar enabled, there is no planting or harvesting for sugarcane. Also do want to point out that we do have planting and harvesting for olives. That's going to play important in the next screen. Taking a look at our prices screen, we do have the ability to sell most of the crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22, with the exception of olives. Now, I find this interesting because we've got a little bit of a conflict going on here. In the custom growth schedule, we do have planting and harvesting schedules for olives. In the custom growth schedule, we do not have a planting or harvesting schedule for sugarcane, but we do have the ability to sell sugarcane. Twofold here. One, player can turn on or off crop growth calendar. So I could choose to play without the crop counter, which means I could plant sugarcane. I can sell it. Very good. I could plant olives, but I can't sell it. If I turn crop counter enabled on, I can plant and harvest olives based on a crop schedule, but I can't plant and harvest sugarcane. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. So I would like to see olives added as a sell point. Now, of course, you could say, well, just take your olives and make olive oil and sell olive oil. Valid point. Valid point. Just pointing something out. We do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Taking a look down through our base game productions, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game productions, including olive oil, on this particular map. We also have the ability to buy bulk lime, and then we do have the ability to sell our stones if we are playing with stones enabled. We do have multiple sell points for our new crops in linseed, rye, field bean, and alfalfa. We also have the ability to sell alfalfa hay. And then as far as our platinum expansion production items, we do not have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion items on this map without putting down an additional sell point. And if we are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability to sell our separated manure. Taking a look at our starting fleet, we do start out with a decent listing of starting equipment. It is all owned, none of it is leased, and most of it is well maintained aside from the New Holland Harvester header. Taking a look at our animal area, we start out with sheep, pigs, chickens, rabbits, cows, and horses at Court Farms, but none of those animal pens have animals in them. We do have contracts available on this map, and we do not own any other production chains at the start. And as I mentioned, this map does include 100 Elm Creek collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the John Deere 4755 and Massey Ferguson 3670 medium tractors. We have the New Holland CH7.70 harvester that is then paired up with the Superflex 25-foot grain header. We also have the Nardi N40BX header trailer. We've got the Farsin 626 Classic telehandler. For the telehandler, we have a manure fork, bale fork, and another bale fork. So we have a set of bale forks. We have a half-pipe HP20 trailer. We have an Agrimoz PO5 XL plow. We have a Torino 3FX cultivator. We also have the HR 4040 power harrow, as well as the Venta 4030 seeder. Those are often used in combination with each other. We have the Amazon ZATS 3200 3-point hitch fertilize spreader. We have the GMD 4411 side mower, as well as the VB 3190 round baler. Then we round it out with a 900 kilogram and 650 kilogram front weight. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, we do not have any custom vehicles or implements that are a part of this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at build mode. We do not have any custom buildings that are available to be placed on this particular map. And then with respect to silos, we also do not have any custom silos, extensions, containers, tools, or placeable farmhouses. Under production, we have all the standard base game production items. Do have listed a custom BGA. I believe that is just how it is coded. I don't know if this necessarily is set up to work differently than the standard 250 kilowatt base game BGA. For our sell points, we have all standard sell points, greenhouses, orchards, and generators. We have all standard animal areas as well. So we will not be able to put down any of these custom buildings in any of the building areas. If you are wanting to build out your own farm and have it be a kind of be area accurate, you will need to find a building pack for that. We have all standard decorative items, including fences, lights, and such. But then as far as our paintable ground textures, let's go ahead and take a look at those. We have farm plate. We have them animal mud. We have animal mud 2. We have asphalt. We then have dirt, forest ground, grass, gravel, gravel dirt, gravel moss, new gravel, which is what we have already here, riverbed, and that is it. As far as placeable plants, we have all the normal looking plants and all of the normal looking trees. Let's go ahead and take a look here at these ground textures. And then while we're at it, we'll go ahead and move on to the farm tour. So we have 70 pigs here at Court Farm. And then inside the area, we have our food and water areas. I will say with this particular pen, I was successful in selling the triggers and the deco items. I wasn't so successful in all of the animal pens, but for this one, I definitely know that I was able to click on the pig hut and it was able to get rid of all the triggers. So if you wanted to sell some, but not necessarily all of the triggers at the main farm, it is possible to sell some of those. Others, I wasn't able to hit the sell trigger. So if it is there, it must be either really, really small or it's just not where I was collecting. Here we have our rabbit pen. We can put 30 rabbits in here. We have a choice of baby rabbit or regular rabbit. And then up to this point, I think the only other map where we have seen rabbits has been on Hof Bergman. So there we have, I guess, the baby rabbit. And then the adult rabbit. We have our food dump and our water dump here for the rabbits. And let's go ahead and take a look at the animals because the rabbits are new. Rabbits are going to require grain, root crops, and grass as food sources. Then we have water as well. What they're going to do is they're basically just going to reproduce. That's how you're going to make money with rabbits, is growing them and selling them. What I do not know from this screen is going to be what kind of their gestation period is, where we basically start getting rabbits, and what their reproductive rate is going to be. Lots of custom buildings here. Lots of really great new textures as well. Lots of storage here at the farm. Here we have kind of a double deep shed with lots of machinery in it. And pretty much every door you're going to come across is going to be operable, which I think is really, really cool. Really great attention to detail on that. Here we have a silage bunker, a covered silage bunker. Like I said, lots of cool little details. Skylights, doors, decorative objects. It's definitely worth kind of giving the map, full-on exploration. Over here we have our horse pasture. 10 horses are available here. And within there you have your food and your water source. Cool little side building. The sitting area here. This is going to be our sheep area. 100 sheep in this facility. We've got our spawn point for our wool over here to the side. And then inside we have our food and we have our water. And as I mentioned, right, a lot of these doors, pretty much every door you're going to come across, is going to open. And we have lights. We have our fuel for our tractors. We don't start with any fuel. Some more machine sheds. We do have a maintenance trigger. That trigger is going to encompass the area beside here. So while it is not specifically flagged and marked on the ground, would like to have seen that in some way. We do know that by having the tractor parked here, as to what is included, the trigger comes all the way over here because we also have that plow. And we have a weight as well. So let's see if we can identify where that weight is located. Over here. So it is possibly the entirety of this shed, or a big portion thereof. We have our cow area. Oh, sorry. We have a... These triggers are blending. I thought it was weird. So we have our chicken area. 50 chickens available here. We have our dump point for our food. Not 100% sure where our eggs are spawning, based on looking at that. We have then our cow area, 50 cows in here. We have our milk trigger inside. Inside the pen itself, we also have our manure heap located right here. We have our dump point for straw and food. Right here we have a water trigger as well as a slurry trigger. It's just some weirdness going on right there. Okay, slurry right there. We have another silage bunker located right here. So yeah, I'm not really sure where we're going to see our eggs spawn. Maybe I am now. There we go. Eggs. Our eggs, I'm pretty confident they're going to spawn over here. Let me see if I can't make my way around this cow area. So we get to more of the farm. We have more machines. This is the back end of that double deep building we were just looking at. We have our farm silo. So we have our dump and fill point. We have our telehandler. This is going to take us back to field 54. This is one of our starting fields, and I have to say, the distance scenery on this map has been taken to another notch. Completely another notch. Everything just looks so good. And we're going to see that pretty evident in the drive round portion coming up, as well as the flyover portion. That is basically Court Farm. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of these buildings, reality, all of the buildings here at Court Farm, they are all permanently embedded in the map. You're not going to be customizing the main farm. That is by design. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? That's up for you as the player to decide if that really matters to you. The intent of this map, as the description said, is to portray a real-life farm. From a gameplay standpoint, yes, I would love to see you able to change this up. I would love that, since we own this area, to be able to come in and say, you know what? That is in my way. I don't want that there. I want to sell it. If I bought this farm in real life, I would have full rights to take any building out I wanted to. Let's extend that to the virtual world. I own the land. I should have full rights to take anything away that I want to. That's my thought. That's fine. I also think it would be great if we could put this stuff back down. Right? We have buyable areas. We're going to see buyable areas as we explore the map. I think it would be great to be able to place these types of buildings down that are obviously correct to the area, so that we could build out an area correct farm as best as we could. And right now we are limited by not being able to put any of these custom buildings down, and also not able to sell any of these custom buildings. So with respect to our scoring metric, we are going to be taking a fair bit of points off with respect to can the farms be customizable, because the farms as a whole are not customizable. We can't sell some of the animal triggers. So for example, we can sell the sheep area, the food triggers will go away, and we now have access to just a green meadow. We can sell, for example, the pig triggers. We can sell the cow triggers. And in that respect, the triggers go away, but the buildings stay. Does that ultimately affect you and your decision on if you want to play the map? That is up to you. But that is how we measure all maps with Farm Sim, is using the same scoring metric. So overall, we're giving the map a 1/4 of a point with respect to farm customization, because overall the farms are not that customizable. We're giving the map 3/4 of a point because we do not have the ability to sell olives. It would be great if we did have the ability to sell olives. We have the ability to grow olives, just not sell them. And then we are going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in, or areas set aside for such, because we have a bakery, a BGA, a sawmill, and a grain mill. The grain mill has been customized such that we can make rye flour out of the grain mill, which is really cool. And then we are going to see, as we progress around the map visually, that we do have lots of other areas to put additional production down. Now, let's just say we're looking at the map boundary right now. Not too far past that road is the literal map boundary. The map appears to go on and on and on. Remember, we are well above where a player would typically be, right? We could say a player would typically be maybe about this level. As far as taking a look at the map boundary, it is definitely on a completely another level. Really great to see this type of detail and customization work. And the map boundary down here to the south just completely blows me away. Because everything you see off in the distance, all those houses, all the hills, that's well off the map border. Well off the map border. In fact, the map border is going to be right here. There you go. We ran right into it. So all of that is off the map border. Just outstanding. So here is one of those buyable areas. You can see that we have the for sale signs. And if you click on those signs after you buy the area, you will be able to clear out a lot of this debris and then make use of this area. And we're going to show you that once we get around to the driving portion. This is going to be one of the buildable zones. I am remembering correctly. Here we got a crop and bale sell point. Lots of crop and bale sell points scattered around. Custom houses, really cool look. So here we have another farm area. We're going to buy this again when we get around to the driving portion. And then this is the camping site, or these are the camping sites that are mentioned in the description, that if you buy this, you'll get some residual income. Again, really awesome map border. Over here we have an animation of a harvest going on. We've got a tractor set up. We've got a harvester moving across the field. That's something that I've mentioned, really wanting to have seen in other farm sims, is AI working the fields. So here we have one of those buyable, placeable areas. Lots of land to do whatever you want with. Let's make our way up the western side of the map. And as we look across the western side to the east, you get a real good sense for the lay of the land. The map is flat-ish with rolling hills where we do have poles in the middle of fields. Those do have collisions, so you will need to be driving around the utility poles. I did test the hedges on a few locations, and I was able to walk through the hedges. So I believe that the hedges overall do not have collisions, but it could be possible that they have a custom collision setup where bales and header trailers cannot go through those, but vehicles and people can. We have another bale and grain sell point. Another grain and bale sell point. Here we have the flour mill, a windmill flour mill. We'll take a look at that during the driving portion. Making our way up to the extreme northwest of the map. We got a little garden area going on here. We have our vehicle shop and our BGA. Really cool little forest back here, walking path. Lots of neat little details here. We have run into the map border. Once again, the map border kind of jogs around. Here we have the animal dealer and a bale sell point. Then right off from this, this is one of the areas I mentioned. 111 specifically. This is farmland 111. It is buyable. It's kind of set up to be kind of an equestrian training and riding area. But I could see you buying this area and maybe making it kind of like a horse farm. Custom built horse farm. And for those of you that have the ability to see colors, I've got to zoom way on in here to really be able to identify this. Here we have the dashed line. The dashed line is the map border. You can see it kind of snakes up and around and down and then back up, right? And then over and around. And for me, when I zoom all the way out, I don't see that dashed line. So I didn't notice that dashed line until I zoomed way in. But you just see how the map border kind of takes an interesting path in and around certain things, as opposed to being, a true border with respect to the edges of the PDA itself. Let's make our way back over to the shop. I'm going to go ahead and buy all of the farm lands. That way we'll be able to see all the various triggers at the other farms and buyable areas. We'll also be able to check out the BGA, see if we can sell the BGA, and do any customization there. So down here at RBM Agriculture, we're going to go inside to hit the shop trigger. Make our way out the back. Some nice animations going on with the forklift. Let's see where our Mahindra comes in at. Ah, right up here out front. Completely the wrong direction. So we got a medium, I would say medium-sized area for our vehicles to spawn in. I assume they're going to spawn in between the shop buildings here. And they can only go so far back before they run into that building. We also have then a rather defined exit gate. Got to get out of here and then get headed down the highway with respect to size of vehicles. So ideally, you're going to be working with smaller to medium-sized machinery, I think. Ideally here on Court Farm. We have our vehicle workshop, and then we have our buy shop. Let's go check the workshop out. It's hidden away a little bit. Tucked away. Not super obvious. And let's go ahead and see the trigger. Is it inside the building? Does it extend outside the building? It does extend outside the building a bit. I would like to see markers here showing the edges, at least on the outside of the building, so you know how far you have to go in order to get up to it. Well, we went ahead and bought all the farmlands. Let's go over here to our biogas plant. Something I did not test earlier was to see if I could sell the BGA and the bunkers and such. So first, let's validate that we own the biogas plant. We do not. Let's buy it for $175,000 or $875,000. And now we validated we own the BGA. We own the land for which the BGA is on. Right there. Farmland ID 194. $5,700. Pretty darn cheap. Pretty darn cheap BGA. So, what happens? Goes away. Nice. Pole stays. That's nice. All right. Can we get rid of this? No. Okay, so the bunker is going to remain. But the BGA itself can't be sold. So if you do want to put down your own biogas plant, pumps and hoses, or some other modular BGA, you can do that as well. Also up here, we do have a sell point for bales, grain crops at Pine Creek stores, and then our stone crusher as well. So our bale sell point to our right, grain sell point to our left, and then the stone crusher right here, debris crusher limited, right there. Pretty neat little setup. We got our deer. I'm going to keep on the lookout for wild rabbits. Looking forward to that. So let's go and talk a little bit about the different versions of the map and what we might expect to see in the future and what I hope we don't see in the future, because we're really concerns me that this might be a direction that Oxygen David is looking at going, and I hope not. So I saw a post where he had put down that since the extended animal mod was available for PC players, he was going to hold off on implementing the other animals, which I'm going to derive as being goats and ducks, as well as possibly baby animals, because those are some of the animals that are available with the updated extended animal mod, and release it for PC with just rabbits, because PC players had the extended animal mod available to them. And that he would be working then to incorporate some of those animals into an eventual console release, which is very fine. I am 100% and have always been 100% toward equity among players. There will always be maps that will be released for PC. That's just a choice by the map author. So here we have our animal trigger. But what I want to see is, where possible, to have map equity across all platforms. What I'm hoping we do not see, and maybe a little concerned of, and maybe it's just a concern it doesn't need to exist, is that we have the PC release now with rabbits, and we can add the enhanced animals. We can get ducks, we can get goats, we can get baby animals with enhanced animal mod for PC. My concern is that we get a console-only version that includes a subset of those new animals, but then the map is forked. We have a PC version that only PC players can access. We have a console version that only console players can access. No longer can we have cross-play between the two. A division has occurred, and I really hope that does not happen. So here we have a line by point. What I really hope is that we don't have that division, that whatever the console version comes out with will truly be available for all platforms. Players will be able to play on both PC and console with the air quote console version. But what that means is, here we have our green sell point. What that means, though, is that players who are sensitive to starting new game saves may want to hold off on this map until that eventual hopeful console all-platform release. Because 100%, there we have our bail sell point, 100% you will need to start a brand new game save on a completely different map, because it will have a most likely completely different name from what the current one is named, to delineate it from PC to console / cross platform. So you'll need a brand new game save in order to have that delineation, or you'll need to go through and make some changes to your save and kind of hack up your save files. And while possible, I know that's not something that is feasible for everyone. Let me take a look at that. Right there's the map border. All right. If you weren't literally right up against the map border, you wouldn't notice the change in textures there from high res to kind of low res, but still. One of the best map borders I have seen. So if you are sensitive to possibly needing to start a new game save, you are on PC, you may want to hold off a little bit on the map. Hopefully the console version isn't far behind the PC version, and hopefully the console version is released for all platforms. While I don't know if this has happened in Farm Sim 22, there have been in the past console-only releases. I don't know if it's a choice the map maker, mod author still has available to them to pick. Yes, I only want this to go to console. No, I do not want PC players having access to this. But it may be possible And if it is possible, I hope it doesn't come to that. So here we have one of those buyable areas, right? We have the for sale sign. If we go into build mode, we click on the for sale sign, we sell it after we buy the land. We can get rid of the sign, we can get rid of often decorations and other things that are part of it. And now we have full access to that area to do what we want. To our right, we have fully down stores. And then once we come into fully down stores, to our right, we have our sawmill. So we have our wood sell point, we have our wood sell trigger. We have our wood chip fill point. We have our plank spawn point there. We have our interactive icon over in the corner. To the left, we then have our grain sell point and our bale sell point. Grain and then bales over here. Cross the street, we're then going to come across another set of sell points. Now these have gates. They have hours. There's no apparent hours posted. So I don't know if the gates are going to close at night. Typically when you have sell points that open and close at specific hours, those hours are published. Here we have Long Meadow stores. And again, we're going to have a grain sell point here and a bale sell point around the side. Now, with respect to more of our scoring metric, we're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. Round textures as well are using the new texturing technique. There you can see I could drive through the hedges. Obviously the fences are going to have collisions. I missed this little dirt road. It's going to take us back to those two sell points over there. Oh. Don't drive as I do. I drive with abandon and disregard. We have a garden center. Once again, we have a sell point for bales and production and such. And then on the other side of the building, a grain dump point. Now, I'm going to double back because this road is just going to run along the map border. We just have some fields and such on the right side. This other road is going to have some more interesting things, I think, on the alternate sides of the field or the road. With so many fields and so many pre-placed farms, I think this map would be an ideal area or an ideal setting for a multiplayer. That's another reason why I really don't want to see like a console-only version and a PC-only version, is because we would then have that disparity, that segregation between the two platforms, or three platforms. Hopefully it's an unfounded concern. Hopefully we'll see when Port Farms comes for console, that the console release is an all platforms release, and then the PC player can decide, do I want to go with the all platform release, which may have a subset of the extra animals available in the extended animal pack, won't have multi-terrain angle, but will have the potential for cross-platform play? Or do I stick with, and am I satisfied with the PC-only version and basically only being able to potentially multiplay with PC players themselves? This is a really interesting setup. We got kind of a river with these access bridges to the houses. And then once again, we are at the literal map border. I might have to figure out where's the road? I completely missed the road. Right there's the road that I need to take. Don't go to the left. That's the map border. Look, there we go. That's all distant scenery over there. Now we're stuck in the vehicle, right? That's how good this map border has been set up. Really, really well done. Top notch. And as we come in here, we're coming into a viable farm that currently is, well, it's closed. There's lots of debris all over the place. Right? What am I supposed to do here? Well, remember, we own this. We already bought it. We come in here, we sell, remove junk in yard. Yes, thank you. And now, look, most of the junk is gone. Not all the junk. Most of the junk is gone. And now we have the availability of using this as an optional farm area. There are no animal pens down here, but we do have a fuel point available, a fuel trigger, fuel storage. We do have the ability at the main farm to sell the sleep trigger. We have to click somewhere on the outside of the back of the house. I was just clicking all frantically, trying to get the sell point to come up, and it finally popped up there. Really well done. I like all the variety of all of these houses. Residential area set up. They have really narrow lanes, keeping to the kind of how things are. So here we have Elmcroft Farm. This is one of the farms I mentioned earlier that we can buy. Down here at Elmcroft Farm, we have a fuel point. We have a non-enterable farmhouse. We have a cow area that can hold 50 cows. We have a milk trigger. We have our manure heap inside here we're going to have to clean out. We have our food and straw trigger on the outside. We have a maintenance trigger inside of here. Really well done building. We have our farm dump silo and a fill point. We have a sheep area. 100 sheep in here. We have our wool. We have our food. We have our water. We have a silage bunker located right there. Water trigger. Slurry point. And that is pretty much Elmcroft Farm. Oh my gosh, super narrow. Super narrow. I need to double back. That's what we need to do. Takes a special type of person to really dive in to the UK maps. Tight, narrow lanes, close quarters. Now let's back up the truck here a little bit. Because across the street, we have our bakery. So we have our dump point, out spawn point, and then on the inside, I saw the interactive trigger, I think. Hey, dude, you're standing in line. You mind if I get in front of you? Oh, thanks. Thanks. There we go. $50,000 to buy our bakery. Then across the street from the bakery, we have Stonebridge Farm and Caravan Park. So we have Stonebridge, the actual farm, to the left, and then we have the Caravan Park, which is buyable, to the right. So if we were to buy the Caravan Park, the camp yard, that's 182. That's farmland 182. That is $102,000. And then, of course, we have 181, which is the farmland itself. That is $83,000. We also have a horse area, which is 183, which is $9,500. Let's take a little walk around. So we have our fuel point. We have our water trigger. Kind of our farmhouse up front. Lots of storage sheds. Here we have our maintenance trigger. I was kind of thinking our maintenance trigger might be in that first building we opened up. Vehicle workshop. Again, really cool how all these farms have been set up. If it's your cup of tea, of course. 200 cows in this particular pasture. We have milk, food, and water. And then over here, we have 50 chickens with our food. And that's going to be our egg spawn point over here. Inside of the cow pasture. A little concerning. Cows might be stomping on your eggs, but maybe that's not a problem. We have our silo, dump and fill points. Can we go in here? One of the few doors we can't go into, apparently. We'll make our way further back. This maze of farm buildings, storage, bale storage. Ah, it's just all over the place. Water, food. And we have Stonebridge rabbits. 15 rabbits here. He's in there somewhere. How about the baby? Continue to make our way back. We have our sheep area, 200 sheep. Raw wool, food and water. Silage bunker. We have our triggers popping up there. Nice bus. And we continue to make our way back. This is going to be the horse area, 10 horses. Food and water. Then we have the pigs. 100 pigs. And then food and water inside of there. And that should be pretty much everything here at Stonebridge. We're going to make our way kind of diagonal across the map. Up toward the starting farm area. In fact, you can probably see the starting farm right over there to the right. Kind of up on the hillside. So there's the starting farm, farmhouse and all that. We have the campsite that is associated with Court Farm. Again, it is a separate viable area. Now we're coming up to the windmill. This is where we're going to be able to do custom rye flour. And then right beside that, we have another viable zone. Right? Really cool windmill area. We have our dump point for our grain into the windmill. We have our flour pallet spawn point. And then we have to go inside here to get to our interactive icon. $96,000. And as I said, let's go ahead and buy it. We can make rye flour. So here we have wheat, barley, rye, oat, and sorghum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 is wheat, 2 is barley, 2, the second 2, we'll call this 3, is rye, 4 is oats, and 5 is sorghum. Kind of interesting, they're numbered. They're not named like you would typically see. Maybe that'll get corrected in an update. And then we can wind our way up the staircase to get to the top of the mill. I think what we'll do is come up here real quick. And then we have Valley View Stores on the left. And this is going to be another grain and bale sell area. Grain. Bales are going to be around the back. Right there. And then we continue on. To Valley View store. That's the same. That's like the back entrance. Here we have another farm. In Home Farm. I feel like we had a map in 19. That was Home Farm. What if it's the same home? I don't know. We have our fuel. We're going to come over here to then a sheep area. 200 sheep here at Home Farm. Food and water. Wool down here. Just kind of make our way around these buildings. Nice stonework. This is just kind of a storage. You can put root crops in here. Bales would be nice in here too. Grain, whatever. You know, in the UK, they like to dump their grain on the ground. We do have a silo, though, so we have our dump point or fill point. We have our water point. We have our manure heap for our cows. There are food and straw troughs. 100 cows available here at Home Farm. We have our slurry point. This should be maybe. Nope, not a covered silage bunker. Some more nice storage. There we have our silage bunker. And, yeah. I think that's it here at Home Farm. Now we could make our way north, this road, but that's going to double back by the animal dealer, and the BGA, and the vehicle shop. I think instead what we'll do is we'll go this way. And then jog over across the road. Oh, did you see that? That's somebody with a hauling a caravan. That was cool. Camper. Call those campers here in the U.S. Possibly here in the North Americas. But I know from watching Top Gear, my quintessential source for everything UK, that they're called caravans. And that's right. That's right. Tall tree stores. Up this way. Again, just on the other side of that tree line, we got our distant scenery. Right? We got towns, we got houses. We got balloons. I mean, we just got great distant scenery. So we have a production sell point, grain sell point, and a bale sell point all over here. Let's make our way down this road. I think we've caught all of the farms at this point. So let's kind of summarize our scoring, wrap it all up here. I know we've gone for quite a long time. This is over an hour already. We're giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're giving the map a full point as well with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. We're taking a quarter point off with respect to the ability to sell our basic and crops, animal outputs, and production points because we do not have the ability to sell olives, even though with the growth schedule, we do have the ability to grow olives. So we have our fuel point. We're also taking off 3/4 of a point, our biggest deduction overall, with respect to the farms being customizable. I fully understand that this map is set up with 3 slugged-in farms. That is a design decision by the map author. It is his decision. His decision is fine, right? It's his decision. But we score maps based on FS22 gameplay and gameplay options, and having the ability to sell buildings around the farm and place custom things down is a gameplay element. So therefore, this map is not playing toward that particular gameplay element. It may or may not bother you if that is the case or not. And then the final scoring metric is trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. We're going to knock off a quarter point, nothing big, just a quarter of a point, because there were a few areas like the corner markers for the dealer trigger that were missing. I would like to have seen those. So not a big deduction. It may or may not, again, impact your decision on if you want to play on this map or how well you are going to enjoy this map. But I would like to see all the appropriate trigger markers and everything clearly indicated. As such, we're going to begin this map with a final score of 3.75 out of 5. Let me know your all's thoughts down in the comments below with respect to what do you think of Court Farm Country Park. Again, it is out right now for PC only. I do hope very, very soon that this map is released for cross-platform play, and I very much hope that when it does release for cross-platform play, that PC players will also be able to make use of that version of the map for the sake of maintaining cross-play compatibility. And until next time, happy farming.